Good evening everyone, how are we doing? Thanks a lot for joining us. Got a great stream lined up for tonight. We've got some decent results to look back upon in game week 188. I've already done some good amount of prep on game week 189 and I've got to say, like, I'm so excited for it. If you've seen any of the tweets and the posts I've put out, I've got, like, depends on where you're at with some goalkeepers, I've got like 9 on the table to be discussed, and I can get a really good 6 entries out. I don't really think I'm stretching too much. Oh, I suppose one of them is a stretch in terms of personnel, but we'll kind of come to that as we run through the stream. Some of you guys might have current information. I've just seen before coming live that Atlanta have confirmed George Bello, Miles Robinson and Brad Guzan are all available for selection for the next match. So we might see a good bit of that. As you might know from the last game week, Tesho Akindele played for Orlando. Within 24 hours have been eliminated by Canada. So there is form for some of these guys just coming straight back in because the Gold Cup was primarily in like the United States. But we equally, or conversely I should say, we had like guys like Kemar Lawrence. I don't know if he's maybe, he played the last match for Jamaica, but he was even in the matchday squad for Toronto. So I think there is some detail to be had in the current situation of the fixture and where it kind of sits and whatever else. So we'll kind of look at that as we go. Also, what I've seen today is that Ezequiel Pons Quetta has got back to Leon from Olympic duty. Brazil out, actually, as I say that out loud, I'm like, yeah, I did see Paqueta at training. Did they get eliminated, Brazil? I missed that. Or maybe I'm tripping. Did I see was it Paqueta? I'm sure it was Paqueta. Paqueta isn't in the Olympics, is he? He did Copa America. Duh, never mind, ignore that. But Pons was definitely in the Argentinian contingent. Yeah, and they've been eliminated, so. But yeah, Paqueta's back from training. What doesn't mean anything to you now. So we'll dive into the live chat, catch up with you guys. How have you been getting this game week? If you've got much on the horizon, we'll get stuck into all the good stuff. And yeah, I think that's pretty much the size of it. Yeah, let's just have a look at game week 188, the game week we're leaving behind. I had some really strong teams out, and again, like the posts I've put out, if you've caught them, I caught some really good decisive scores. I just didn't really get the combinations really on point. I didn't really have much of an option with some of the selections I made. I just got a wee bit unlucky with just the whole entity, if you like. So All-Star D2 is going to jump out and grab your attention, of course, because it's going to be the only prize we're going to be pulling this game week. And we can still finish 13th. We'll still be finishing within a prize. I think that's almost guaranteed now. Yeah, so tier 3s are down to 22nd. So we're just dropped into the tier 3 category. I was sitting in second for ages. Like, look at that. All 4 of my outfielders are banging in over 60 each. I don't even know Matsurita just got the clean sheet, but I'm sure he'd have been involved in crossing and passing and all that good stuff that he's good for. Medina gets a goal, or was it an assist? An assist. Grancier, I think, the same. Joseph gets a goal. And, Hassel, for conceding 2 goals, still gets in around the 50-point mark before multiplier. So you look at that and you think, Jesus, man, what else could I really have wanted? But it's when you examine this on the SoRare data breakdown that you get, even if I think, from where I'm at now, 11th, into the top 3 is 30 points. Such small differences, So I don't know if I'll even want to make myself cry a little bit and go and look at them. I picked the captain perfectly. I got my best player on captain, which is perfect. Just lacked a couple of points here and there. Medina got like 2 big chances missed credited to him. So I think I seen Opta Jack getting tagged in quite a lot of stuff this game week. So there might be some last minute rejiggers. If there's some guy at the desk this week that just loves big chances missed. So let's see. Let's not lose all faith for that. We could get a minor miracle because it is so tight. It's 30 points for difference. If we get Medina to lose one of his big chances missed or something, then we could jump up even into a higher placing And no, yeah, we would get past tier 3s. I think we would go 12 points. Yeah, I think we would probably get the tier 2 category, which, you know, fingers crossed, would be nice. The All-Star D3, again, it's got the bones of a good team, but Barraza losing that clean sheet at the end killed his score. In Mensa, like, I went against I didn't play him last week because I thought he would get a score like this, and he got 100, and I thought, I'm crazy not to play on this game week after that being so much egg on my face. And this game week it definitely happened. We're 50 points off of a tier 2, so Mensa alone isn't really, you know, the cause of that. You know, Key did a good job. You know, that's the kind of scores I'm wanting to rely upon for Key and have some peaks come in once he starts getting assists and goals back into his game again. Johnny Russell's in great form, and Jordan Larson started on the bench, I think, in this match, didn't he? So, hey, one of those ones. All-Star D4, Sunjic is back in town, again with an R score. Gadi Kinda knew he was going to have a good game week, and he did, and Pozuelo DNP'd, and we're 113 points off. So Pozuelo, again, is not the sole contributor to us not bagging anything from All-Star D4. How many points did we actually get? We're not even picking up ETH, Jesus. That's me just realising that. Wow. That's such hard luck, man. Bummer. No ETH. Champion America D3, Ronald Hernandez was shit. Zela Ryan was shit. Mason Toy was shit. Wanyama did Wanyama. And Barraza didn't get his clean sheet. So 117 points off of a prize. Not really too much we can complain about there, I suppose. But it was this team here. I was like, Jesus, man. This was like kind of the write-off team. And Parks and Higuain, like... killed it. Almost. You know, look at that. I'm 45 points off of a tier 3 with 2 DNPs. You know, they did, both of them did incredible. Higuain, I've actually had on the transfer list a couple of times over the last maybe 10 days, and I think I'm quite glad now I've not sold him, because if he gets into this kind of form while he's been slated as not doing that great, then bring it on, you know, no problem by me. This team, I think, was a bit unlucky. You know, the Van der Voort game was just so high scoring. Mark McKenzie got away with a good score in the match, but Van der Voort just couldn't concede 4 goals. You know, it was an absolute killer to his score. Vershawn did okay. Cabral did great. Lopez was definitely below par, but 40 points off. I think Van der Voort has a 60 in him. You know, so Van der Voort turns up and does his piece with his multiplier. You know, you'd think a reward should have been gotten there thanks to the super rare hitting off so well, and the captain didn't really pay off, but. So, bit of a mixed emotions. I caught a lot of good scores right across the board. Just unfortunate with some of the combinations. I think defence was probably my weakest area this game week. Yeah, it definitely was. Defence was by far and away my letdown. My forward options by and large did well. Even Larson getting 30 minutes, 42 points before multiplier is more than acceptable, you know, for a forward, even if they start a match, you know, so not too bad about that. Really glad all my good super rares were congregated and I'll be getting something, but hey ho. Let's dive into the live chat and see what you guys are up to. I've got 21 of you here, guys. Thanks very much for joining us live. It means so much to me. While we are here, it would mean so much to me if you could smash that like button, show your support for the channel. It goes a long way. Thank you very much. Shrew1886 AA, good evening, first in the house. Jonathan Roberts is here with Evan and Hoodwink and Jesper Scott. Good to see my man. Fist bump to you and all the others. Moldy, good evening. Fist bumps are getting out in the live chat. I love it. Non-stick Llama, good to see you, my man. Evening, peeps. Roll Slevin, Shrew's back. Tom Bradley, good to see you guys too. Ev and Mikey Baston, boom, fist bump. Rishi, good to see you, my man. Managed to join in live. It's got to happen once at some point for everyone. Camera not on. Are you bamming me up? The camera is on. Camera frozen for me. Anyone else? Frozen for me? Yeah, me too. Oh. Uh-oh. Hopefully it's came back. Just like another Celtic season in the Champions League. Oh yeah. Let me know about the camera, guys. That's concerning. I think get a wee notification. Let me just check this. Skipped frames. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of skipped frames. Hopefully that. Let me check this wee window. I never really opened some of this stuff, so I don't want it. Your stream is experiencing issues. Got all non-essentials closed, don't I? Yeah. Right, guys, help me out here. Keep me up to date with the screen. Don't want it frozen on me. But yeah, thanks a lot for all you guys that are joining me. Now, this game week coming into it, right, I think there is a little bit of controversy. Of course, we've not got all the coverage for the licensed clubs that we have, certainly, that are in qualification. SoRare have made their little kind of announcement about it in the Discord, just explaining that they require a certain threshold of coverage to capture every statistic that they run the matrix on. And I think, you know, if Volta just aren't covering it to that level, there's nothing they can do, you know, because you want it to be a level playing field. Yes, you want maximum utility, but you don't want, you know, inaccurate data and scoring being skewed, you know. So I'm going to just scroll to the bottom and hit view all games so we can see everything we've got. So the J League's got a match, China's got a few, depends on cards, you might be interested in that. The K League has 3 matches, and we've got some big teams there, you know, Ulsan, Pohang, Jeonbuk, some big teams. Champions League qualification, we still have the SoRare Derby for Cesar Cruz's Just Said camera. I hope. No, let me just check it. Let me check it on my phone. 2 seconds. Does it make me paranoid? And I want to see what I can do. Oh, yeah. Let me know what the camera is. Is it just jumping? That's annoying. Camera keeps freezing. Yeah, that is frustrating to say the least. Just hold fire for 2 seconds, guys. Sorry about that, guys. Just had to go and check. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I know it's not really the visual user here anyway for guys, especially with me now, but it's a pain in the ass. But we've got the SoRare Derby with Moscow and Benfica. We've also got Monaco playing. There's a few Monaco cards knocking around, you know, Volland, Nubel, Crepindia, excuse me, Crepindia, who's not even in the travelling party, it must be said. PSV, good game for them at home at Midtjylland. They should absolutely batter them, honestly. And then MLS, we've got a full slate of fixtures. Some of these games are very appealing, and some of them are maybe ones you might want to avoid, but some good games there. Liga MX, we've got Querétaro, if that's how you say it. So we've got the Celtic game. That's getting scored, but you know, some of the other ones aren't. Hey ho, won the hoops. Vitesse, we've got Dundalk, that's getting scored. Feyenoord, Luzerne, and Aberdeen with Christian Ramirez are away in Iceland, and you know, you'd think that would be a good game for a Scottish team, but they have been tricky for the Aberdeens and the St Johnstons and the Motherwells in the past. So at the moment, guys, as you can see, we've got 6 teams picked, right? I'll take you through them as I normally do. We'll go top to bottom. Oh, actually, just before we do that, I got a DM from your man Andy Black. He's like, oh, good game in the SoRare Data League or something like that. Big balls on Captain and Joseph. I was like, oh, did I have Black this game week? And I thought, oh, let me go and check the score. So I think it's only right that, because I know it won't feature on his podcast because they don't really have screen grabs, it's just more on camera for the Andes. So I thought, I'll show you on screen on my stream because it's only right and fair, I suppose. Andy picked a really good team, and he did pretty well. I think De La Cruz and Mihailovic and probably Rui Diaz, that little triangle is probably the ones he's most annoyed about, especially looking at what he had on the bench. You know, Hadji for one of them guys in midfield, and Johnny Russell, you know, then he's in with a shout, isn't he? But Van der Voort was my kick in the balls. Matarita did well. I just got the midfield pretty. I knew Gadi Kinda was going to have a good match. I could feel it in my bones. Captain and Joseph, we've always got to put the firepower up front, and that backed me JR, Johnny Russell. So finally, I was talking about that in the last stream that I needed to get a win. I'd lost 3 games in the bounds, you know, so it was a real upset in the SoRare Data ELO rankings. I'm hoping beating Black gets me tons of ELO points. I'm on 1503 before the game week closes, so let's see how many points we get for beating Black. That'll be interesting, for taking down a titan of the game, if you like. So A lot of great fixtures. I hope some of you guys are getting cards out. Stefan, good to see you, my man. Fist bump. Now, I've guys, honestly, this game week feels so good for me, right? Now we'll come to MLS and like Gold Cup stuff as we kind of rattle through this. I want to know your opinions and information you've got. I'll share the stuff I know and what I think, okay? But in Global All-Star D2, it's the return of Slovic. Slovic is back. He is in action and he's going into D2. I'm just going to make this screen a little bit smaller, sorry. There we go. Make it fit a wee bit nicer. There we go. Slovic is back in town. Medina and Matarita are in smooth sailing form. Matarita's just back from Gold Cup, so he's got a string of DNPs there. But prior to the DNPs, he was scoring well. Joseph looks back to his best, or he looks like he's getting back to his best, and I'm always happy to back him. And Jordan Larsson should start at home against Benfica, and I fancy Moscow at home to be dangerous. And that's all I need Moscow to do with my Jordan Larsson card against Benfica, is be dangerous, because as long as they're dangerous, I know he'll score in the high 40s. As you can see with his last two games, that's with a 60-minute appearance and a 30-minute appearance, and he's got, you know, low to high 40 in both those little sample pieces. As long as they're dangerous in the match, I'm confident he's going to get me a high 40, worst case scenario. If he can get some key passes, if he can get some actual decisive scores, assists, goals, that kind of stuff, of course, then brilliant. So I'm happy to make him captain, because I think his downside is not too bad. The other alternative is maybe I can maybe captain anyone in this team, to be honest with you. I'm not going to captain Medina because it's an away trip, and you know he has been starting a lot of matches. There is the chance that he maybe does. It's hard to bench him because he's been doing so well, but he has been playing a lot of minutes, so it is what it is. And Matarita, away to New York, just since they're just so sketchy, like I don't know if I want to captain a guy that could concede 3 goals and have that against him, you know. So it is what it is. So captain Larsson, and I'm really super hopeful with that. Reason being, when I look at the prize pool, it's not that enticing because of the numbers and whatever. In terms of it's just a podium, and no, actually, what was I thinking about? Just a podium. It's in our division. So, I think it might have been under 23s or something. There's 115 entrants, and we're getting up to 11th place for a super rare. So it's like half the pool of what it is at the weekend. And I suppose we've got much less entrants, but I do feel out of that 115, surely my lineup has got to be, considering basically that lineup is 11th this game week. Surely I've got to be in amongst the top like 20% of entries in terms of quality and expected points, if that's a thing. So with that in mind, I'm really happy to go for this division over splitting them up and doing some other options that are available to me. I'd love to get towards the top end, and I think I could do some damage there, which is exciting. Let's look at D3 just before we go and actually look at the team I've selected. So we've got just under 950 entrants at the point of stream, and we've got star rares back to 8th, which is good for a midweeker, I'd definitely say. Tier 1's back to 26th, which is nice, and then 27 to 37 gets a tier 2, and yeah, that's not too bad at all. So it's only top, you can say top 5%, top 4% or something are going to be in the mix, but again, the quality of the lineup I think I'm getting out there is going to be credible to run far. You know, this is what I'm throwing out there. I've kind of forgotten what it is, but I'm going to back Mensa at home to DC is a much better fixture for him. I'm back in Noble to play Wanyama and Grancier, solid SR midfielders. I know what I'm going to get from them, and Captain Vela. I think that's a really good D3, and I think with them it's basically just an MLS like game slate really, but with having these other pieces knocking about like the Noble and like Slovic, then I can manipulate my gallery, my club to do a lot of different kind of combinations to try and just get the most out of the team, because without some of these extra pieces, like especially these two, Noble and Slovic, are goalkeepers, it would really limit me to the amount of entries I can get out, because goalkeepers really control how many entries you can. You know, that's one thing that I don't think stated enough, is like if you only have 3 goalkeepers, you're only really getting 3 good teams out, you know. And I think it's something we all know and it's well ingrained in us at this point, but when you start getting goalkeepers coming back in, and Odysseus, I don't know if he is going to start or not, but I'm happy to put him in my Global All-Star D4. Sunjic has been him. I think Furuhashi is going to start for Celtic. It wouldn't surprise me one bit, and I've made him captain because I think he's just, I've seen his interview today of his unveiling. He seems focused and up for it, man, and I cannot wait to see him in action. So I've got my top on tonight because I'm fucking buzzing again to see good players come into Celtic that are hungry. That Abada, so one thing I said about him the first time I seen him is that he looks hungry. I've not seen a Celtic player look hungry like that. Maybe Turnbull did that a bit like that last year, but you know, these guys, you know, they're proper. I don't know, it's ripping out them, you know. And Zelarayan surely has to have a good game at home at DC, is kind of my thinking for All-Star D4. That team just better pick me up the E for this game week. If it does anything more than that, then it'll be good. But again, I've got lots of odd end pieces there, you know, a goalkeeper from here, strikers from there, whatever. But I'd rather do that in Global D4 versus going into Challenger, because like I don't think I have a really credible defender for Challenger that I could get out. Looking forward to using my Vitesse Super Rares this game week. I bet you are, Joshy boy. Got my first ever card reward coming tomorrow. Well done, Jesper. Tier 2 rare coming from Global All-Star. Oh, brilliant. Global All-Star is my favourite pool to be pulling players from, because it is like the whole game basically. I think especially tier 2s and tier 1s, etc. I think, you know, there's still going to be some duds and some, you know, there's going to be some duds and some studs in the pool from top to bottom, but you've got a much better chance, in my opinion, of getting a much more accurate, you know, reading on what is a tier 1 in the global pool versus a region, because in the region, like, you just get much less selection, you know. But well done, Jesper. Buzzing to see what your reward is. Hashtag trophy day. Quinny, do you think Guzan and the other Atlanta guys will play this week? It's been announced they are available for selection. I don't think Guzan necessarily goes straight back in, because Alec can. So this is the thing, right? Let's I'm just going to put it back to me. I'll pull up this page, right? So I'll walk you through what I'm thinking. So Atlanta are away to Montreal. Now I don't actually think Barco is going to be. I don't think Barco will start. I'm not going to be putting Barco in any of my teams, right? But he's come back from Japan, been playing Argentina, as you know, blah blah blah. But what I think with MLS clubs this game week is some of them that are playing at home or playing away is going to play a bearing on what guys get into the squad, what the fixture is. I didn't click on Ligue 1. Sorry, I'm just trying to pull up MLS. So I think that will play a big bearing, and that's part of the kind of strategy I've deployed throughout some of the other entries that we'll come to. But just to kind of answer that question, I just want to kind of scan over this now and show you what I'm on about. So fixtures. And with MLS, it is important to, like, you do kind of need to zoom out a little bit and take a kind of broader view of things. Okay, so I wonder if I can zoom in on this. Yeah, we can. Sweet, is it not? Can I move this? Yeah, there we go. Lovely jubbly. Right, okay. You can see that a wee bit better. Let me zoom in and maybe another little touch. There we go, that'll do. Right, okay, sorted. So for this game week we've got, it's from the Portland Timbers game that I'm at the now, with my mouse, sorry, from there up the way, okay. So let's think about, who we're talking about first. Atlanta are away, I'm sure, to Montreal this game week. Is that right, or am I getting muddled up here? Where is Atlanta? I really feel like I've just went blind, by the way. Where the hell are Atlanta? Am I losing my mind? Is Atlanta on this screen? Portland Timbers Earthquakes, Kansas LAFC, Galaxy RSL, Dallas Sounders, Austin Dynamo, Miami Orlando, Bills Cincinnati, NYC Chicago Fire, Philly Toronto. Oh, that's annoying. I thought I did scroll up. Revs Nashville, Montreal, Atlanta. There we go. DC Columbus. Right, sorted. So Atlanta being away to Montreal is a bit of a trek, is a bit of a trip. The American guys, if they've just came straight back into the camp, them being available for selection is one thing, but you kind of need to see who's in the travelling party, you know, and sometimes they can be quite secretive with what pictures they put on social media and stuff like that. So I think you might just need to keep your ear a little bit closer to the ground. I really do think that Miles Robinson and George Bello will go straight into the team, because I think they're desperate for defensive reinforcements. But Ad Guzan, maybe I, maybe no. But I think the fact that that's been made public, it's known, they're back in the building, they're ready, they're available for selection. I think it's going to signal towards the fact that they will. We've not had that kind of detail, for example, with Barco, which is why I'm not going to gamble on him. So I could quite easily see them saying to him, just you chill out, get yourself in good nick, we'll go away to Montreal and then we'll catch you in the next match, kind of thing. Other America players like Sean Johnson and James Sands, for example, I'm not expecting them to play against the Fire, just my opinion, for the simple reason that I think the way New York City Ronnie Dyler will prepare and do prepare, is for the match. So this, if you're not at the beginning of the preparation phase, then he's not going to just throw you in. He might put you on the bench or whatever. I suppose that it's very possible. Like Sands. I think it's just Sands and Johnson that are away for him at this point. No, there's no one from the Mexico team, so I don't think they'll play for that reason alone. Braz has done well enough that I think you can trust him to stay in, and Sands hasn't been a huge kind of absentee. The squad's coped quite well rotation wise, information wise, with Callens and Shano being back and everything else as well. Cincinnati, I don't think there's anyone. Orlando, DK, I think DK will come straight back into this. They're at home, so he's coming back to the training pitches. Also, if they need to jet across the country or anything, so I think DK will play. Same with Roldan. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else. Dallas, did they have anyone? Not too sure. The Galaxy guys like Leggett, I think Leggett will play. I've picked Leggett in the team. It's a wee bit speculative, but I think he'll do it. I think there's anyone in this fixture that applies to them. We've got Portland and the Quakes. Is there anyone in that? No, I don't think there is really, is there? So I may be missing a few that are in your club, in your gallery, and if they are, if I have, then sorry, I beg your pardon, and let me know, and I'll give you my honest thoughts and opinions. New York Revs, I'm banking on Turner and Kessler getting back into the team, because Kessler, as you quite know, I'm quite pissed off with it. Get called in. He made 2 sub appearances. He must have made a grand total of like 8 minutes on the pitch, which pissed me off. But the Revs, which is why I'm saying you need to zoom out a little bit, actually have, if you see here, in the next game week, the Revs are home for 2 games in a row. Their next game is at home to Philly, and Atlanta's next game is Columbus away. So they will be travelling. So maybe somebody like Barco, for example, might be travelling and meet them there, or whatever they do when they're on the road. New York are away again. Excuse me. And was there another? I think it was Atlanta and the Revs were the ones that mainly caught my eye with that kind of dynamic. Where is Atlanta? Their next game's away, isn't it? Yeah. And then the Galaxy have got 2 games at home also, which is why I'm backing Leggett to. I think he'll make appearances in both of them. He may not get 90, might not start them both, but I think he'll do. I think he'll get good minutes. And then Colorado Rapids are at home in this fixture. And who do the Rapids have in the first one? Are they at home or are they away? Where are the Rapids? Have they maybe get their break game? Have they not got an opponent for that game week? Yeah, maybe that's. Right, I'm going to go for the Muggins. I think I'm going blind. Yeah, the Rapids don't have a game this game week. So they are the spare team. So if you have any Rapids players that are US national team players, I think they'll all be back for the Kansas game because they are spare this game week at a glance. So wait. Audio will start. Sure, I read somewhere Leite is suspended for some reason. Nice. Or that might be for the first league game. Benfica coach apparently kiboshed Odysseus moved to Lille for the time being, so presumably he needs him. Okay, good.